You've probably heard this idea before, right? That to really change your life, you have to first change your identity. That you need to start being the person who already has everything you want. Now, I know it's a huge concept in manifestation, but it can sound a little out there. Well, it turns out there's some absolutely fascinating brain science that explains exactly how this works. So, in this explainer, we're going to break down the neuroscience of who you are and show you how you can quite literally rewire your brain for a completely new reality.
So that leads us to the million-dollar question. Can you really change your external world just by changing what's going on inside your head? And the answer from neuroscience is a resounding yes. But, and this is a big but, it's not magic. It's a very deliberate process of rewiring the one thing that creates your entire experience of reality in the first place, your brain.
Okay, so at the heart of all this is a shift in your core identity. Just look at these two columns. On the left, you've got a self-concept that's built on lack. And these beliefs, they act like a filter. They cause you to unconsciously look for proof that, yeah, you're not good enough. But on the right, you have a mindset of abundance. Believing you're worthy and capable actually primes you to see opportunities and to act in ways that create success. So the big question is, how do we get from the left side over to the right? Well, it all starts with understanding that who you think you are isn't actually fixed.
And that brings us to our first big idea, your malleable identity. Your sense of self feels so solid and permanent, doesn't it? But what science is showing us is that it's actually a dynamic process. Your brain literally reassembles your identity every single day based on what you experience and what you think. Neurologically speaking, you're not the same person you were yesterday. Wild, right? Think of it like this. You've got this little identity team in your brain, and these are the two key players. First, you've got the medial prefrontal cortex, or MPFC. This guy is the director. It's constantly weaving this story about who you are, who you used to be, and who you're becoming. And the hippocampus? Well, that's the archivist. It's the library that supplies all the raw material, all your personal memories that the director uses to build that ongoing story. So let's talk about that story, the brain's self-story. Your identity is really just a narrative that your brain builds. And here's the kicker. The story isn't just built from the past. The exact same brain network that you use to recall memories is also the one you use to imagine the future. This is so important because it means your brain doesn't really draw a hard line between what actually happened and what you imagine could happen.
So how do we actively go in and change that story? Well, it comes down to this incredible process called memory reconsolidation. See, your memories aren't like little videos locked away in a vault. Every single time you recall a memory, it becomes temporarily unstable. It becomes flexible. And that is a huge window of opportunity. In that moment, you can introduce a new feeling or a new perspective, and your brain will store an edited version of that memory. You can literally change the grip your past has on your identity right now.
Okay, so if our identity is a story that we can edit, how do we make those edits actually stick? Well, this is where we get into rewiring your reality. It all comes down to the brain's amazing, almost superpower-like ability to physically change itself, a process we call neuroplasticity. This simple phrase right here is one of the most important rules in all of neuroscience. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you have a thought, specific brain cells, neurons, fire a little electrical signal. If you repeat that thought, those same neurons fire again and again and again. And over time, the connection between them gets stronger and faster. This is how habits of thought, like I am capable, become your brain's default setting. You are literally building your identity one thought at a time. Still a little skeptical that just your thoughts can physically change your brain? Okay, check out this landmark study. You had one group of people who physically practiced a piano melody for 5 days. A second group only imagined practicing it. They never touched the piano. And the result was just astonishing. Brain scans show that the mental rehearsal group had almost the exact same physical changes in their brain's motor cortex as the group who actually played the piano. Your thoughts are that powerful. And this incredible idea that we can intentionally use our minds to change our own brains has a name. It's called self-directed neuroplasticity. What this means is that you are not just a passive victim of your brain's old programming. You can be the architect. By consciously choosing what you focus on, you can intentionally strengthen the neural circuits for the identity you want and just let the old unhelpful ones get weaker from neglect. Now, what's really cool is that these modern scientific discoveries, they actually have echoes and principles that are thousands of years old. So let's connect a few of these, let's call them manifestation ideas, to their scientific counterparts. Let's start with the ancient principle of mentalism, which states that the universe is mental. Now, to be clear, science isn't saying you can think a car into existence, but it does confirm that we never ever experience reality directly. What we experience is our brain's model or prediction of what reality is. So it follows that when you change your internal model, your beliefs, your expectations, your entire experience of the world has to change with it.
How about the idea of vibration, or like attracts like? The scientific parallel here is a really well-established concept in psychology called mood congruence. It's simple. When you feel good, you are way more likely to notice positive things, remember happy memories, and interpret neutral events in a good way. Your emotional state literally tunes your perception to match it.
And finally, cause and effect. The idea that our inner thoughts create outer effects is a perfect mirror of Hebb's law, which we just talked about. A repeated thought is the cause. The strengthened neural pathway that drives new automatic behaviors and perceptions, well, that's the effect. It's a direct biological chain of events that starts right inside your mind. So how do we put this all into practice? Let's look at the toolkit. Visualization is just mental rehearsal, and we know it physically rewires your brain. Affirmations can actually activate the brain's reward circuits, making you feel good. Scripting, which is just writing out your desired future in detail, helps program a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. Just think of it as your brain's bouncer. It decides what gets your attention. By scripting, you're telling that bouncer to start letting in opportunities related to your goals. And mindfulness, well, that helps you step back from those old identity patterns, creating the space to build new ones. And when we put all of these pieces together, we arrive at our final section, becoming your future self. All this science, all these ancient principles, they all point to one incredible conclusion. You have the power to consciously evolve who you are. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about doing the mental and emotional work to direct your brain's natural, built-in capacity for change. It really all comes down to this simple, logical progression. When you consistently change your mind, your thoughts, you physically change your brain's structure and its function. And when you change your brain, the very organ that generates all your behaviors, your perceptions, and your emotions, you can't help but change your life.
The science is clear. Your identity is not carved in stone. It's a story that you are actively writing and rewriting with every single thought you choose to focus on. So the only question that's really left is the one right here on the screen. Who will you choose to become?